The morning light slants through my kitchen window, casting long shadows across the breakfast nook of my modest Oregon apartment. I pour coffee into my favorite mug, the one with a tiny chip on the rim that I can't bring myself to replace. The familiar aroma wraps around me like a security blanket as I sort through the pile of paperbacks I'll bring to my shift at the bookstore. My phone buzzes against the counter. Once. Twice. A message notification lights up the screen. Mrs. Langford. I frown, my hand hovering over the device. My old neighbor from Seattle hasn't contacted me since. Well, since everything fell apart. The text preview stops my breath mid-inhale. I can't believe what your family is doing, if you're still alive. My finger trembles as I tap the message. A video attachment loads, the thumbnail showing the familiar stone facade of St. Daniel's Church where I attended Sunday school, where my sister Camille got married, where a grandmother's funeral service was held. The first frame freezes my blood. Someone has propped my graduation photo near the pulpit, surrounded by white lilies. The same photo that used to sit on my father's desk at Martin Transportation headquarters before they stripped my name from the company letterhead. I press play. The camera pans across the church interior. Rows of empty pews wait expectantly, while two volunteers drape black fabric over the altar rail. My mother stands to the side, dabbing her eyes with a handkerchief as she instructs them on the proper placement of flower arrangements. Then my father's voice fills the frame, reading from a piece of paper clutched in his manicured hands. We gather to remember our beloved daughter Celia, taken from us far too soon in a tragic accident abroad. The phone slips from my fingers, clattering against the counter. I catch it before it falls, my throat closing around a hysterical laugh. An accident abroad? I haven't left Oregon in 4 years. Not since that rainy night when they forced me to pack my life into my old Honda Civic and drive away from everything I'd ever known. The memory slams into me with brutal clarity. The boardroom with its polished mahogany table, the stack of financial reports showing $96,000 missing from company accounts. My sister Camille's perfectly painted lips pressed into a thin line as she refused to meet my eyes. The weight of accusations hanging in the air like poison gas. My father's voice, cold and practical. Better to sacrifice one daughter than lose everything. I'd driven south through the downpour, watching Seattle's lights fade in my rearview mirror. Found this small town, this quiet apartment, this job at Hartwell Books where nobody knew my name or my shame. Deleted my social media, changed my phone number, let myself disappear. But this is different. My hands shake as I remember trying to access my old email account last year. The error message flashing across the screen. Account suspended, user deceased. I'd gone digging then, searching public records with growing horror. Found the death certificate with my name on it, signed by my parents. Cause of death. Motorcycle accident in Austria, a country I've never visited. The video plays on. The camera wobbles, then steadies on my sister Camille directing the church ladies with rehearsed grief, her diamond tennis bracelet catching the light as she gestures. The same bracelet she wore the day she stood silent, while they accused me of stealing the money she'd embezzled. I tap the screen, freezing her face mid-instruction. Study the satisfied curl of her lips, the calculated performance of mourning. My fingers find the manila folder hidden behind my cookbooks. The one where I've been collecting evidence, bank statements, company documents, newspaper clippings, proof that I'm still here, still breathing, still fighting. They didn't just disown me. They didn't just exile me. They legally erased me. The morning sunlight suddenly feels cold against my skin as I stare at my sister's frozen image. Have you ever felt erased by the people who should love you most? What would you do if your family declared you dead while you were still breathing? I close the video and open my calendar app. Time to make a few phone calls. Time to rise from the dead. Later that day, my laptop screen glows in the darkened apartment, casting a harsh light across the scattered papers covering my desk. Public records fill my browser tabs. Death certificate, estate notices, Probate filings. Each document bears my name in cold, official type. My shoulders ache from hours of searching, but I can't stop reading. The wall calendar beside my desk shows dates circled in red ink, a timeline of my erasure growing clearer with each discovery. 3 months after I left Seattle, my email account suspended. 6 months, my phone number reassigned. 1 year, death certificate filed. 18 months, estate proceedings initiated. My fingers hover over my phone, Aunt Marla's number displayed on the screen. She always made the best apple pies and brought me chicken soup when I had the flu in college. Surely she would want to know the truth. My thumb presses call before I can second guess myself. 1 ring. 2 rings. Hello? Her familiar voice brings tears to my eyes. Aunt Marla, it's Celia. The line goes dead. I stare at the phone, my hand trembling. The rejection burns deeper than I expected. A message notification pops up, my cousin Josh responding to my email from yesterday. Everyone said you died years ago. There was even a memorial. I went. Below his words, a photo attachment. My finger shakes as I tap to open it. The image loads. Our extended family gathered in black clothes, my smiling graduation photo displayed on an easel draped with white flowers. Uncle Robert dabbed his eyes with a handkerchief. Mom clutching Dad's arm, Camille accepting hugs from sobbing relatives. My stomach turns. They've done this before. The business registry website loads slowly, each second stretching like taffy. I scan through document after document until, there. My throat closes. My 22% ownership stake in Martin Transportation transferred to Camille exactly 6 months after my death. The date burns into my vision. The 15th of March, 2021. Another tab holds my grandparents' trust fund documentation. The words blur, then snap into focus. Ownership managed by parents until beneficiary reaches age 30. I'm 35 now. 5 years of dividends, gone. Numbers march across my screen. Quarterly payments, stock splits, profit sharing, $140,000 paid to Camille since the transfer. The cost of her new house in Madison Park. Her destination wedding in Maui. My inheritance is funding her perfect life while I ring up paperbacks for minimum wage. I collected all the documents and waited for morning to come. I will not sit and watch them treat me as dead forever. The next morning, the civil attorney's office in Portland smells like leather and lemon furniture polish. Papers spread across his mahogany desk. My passport with recent stamps, tax returns showing steady employment, pay stubs from Hartwell Books, bank statements proving I'm alive and functioning in society. This is extraordinary. His wire-rimmed glasses catch the afternoon light as he examines each document. Fraud, forgery, and financial abuse clearly documented. He looks up, eyes sharp with professional outrage. We'll file to revoke the death certificate immediately. The sun has set by the time I climb the stairs to my apartment. A white envelope lies on the welcome mat. No return address. Inside, heavy cream paper bordered in black. In loving memory of Celia Ann Martin. Memorial service this Sunday, 10 a.m., St. Daniel's Church, Seattle. I walk to my bedroom mirror, holding the invitation against my black dress. The reflection shows a woman I barely recognize. Stronger, steadier, ready. My hands smooth the fabric as I imagine their faces when I walk through those church doors. The briefcase by my bed holds every scrap of evidence, organized chronologically. Bank records proving the original embezzlement. Transfer documents showing how they stole my inheritance. Proof that I never left the country, never owned a motorcycle, never died in an accident. I call my attorney immediately. You've built an airtight case. My attorney's voice holds quiet satisfaction as we review the final preparations through the phone. The death certificate will be revoked. The asset transfers were invalidated. They'll face serious consequences. My voice comes out stronger than I expect. I'm not just going to file paperwork, I'm going to face them. The next morning, in his office, he helps me prepare additional documents, sticky notes, marking signature lines. Maximum impact, he says, but everything is completely legal. I practice my words in front of the mirror each night, watching my voice grow more confident, my spine straighter. The scared daughter they cast aside transforms into something else entirely, a woman claiming her justice. Now, justice leads me back to the place where silence once lived. The Seattle skyline appears through my windshield, familiar spires against gray clouds. St. Daniel's Church spire rises above the trees, its bell tower where I used to watch sunsets as a teenager. My hands tremble on the steering wheel despite my white-knuckled grip. Would you have the courage to walk into your own funeral? To face the family that tried to erase you? What would you say to people mourning someone who isn't even dead? The church parking lot fills with expensive cars. My old life, parked in neat rows. I went to the hotel straight from the airport to rest and prepare for the D-Day. The Sheraton's bathroom mirror reflects a woman I barely recognize. My fingertips trace the outline of my face, searching for familiar angles beneath the careful makeup. Behind me, the hotel bed disappears under a scatter of documents, financial records, social media screenshots, newspaper clippings, evidence of a life I'm supposed to have left behind. A Seattle Times article catches my eye on a smell desk next to the bed. Martin Transportation expands West Coast operations. The photo shows my father cutting a ribbon, Camille beaming at his side. Her diamond tennis bracelet glints in the flash of cameras, the same one she wore the day she watched them exile me. My phone buzzes. Instagram notification. Another photo of Camille living her best life, stepping out of a new Mercedes, shopping bags hanging from both arms. The caption reads, "Retail therapy, blessed." The comments overflow with heart emojis from our old social circle. None of them questioning how a mid-level marketing manager affords a lifestyle that would strain a CEO's salary. The stack of emails makes my stomach clench. Formal discussions between family members about Celia's estate. Legal documents transferring my grandfather's trust fund. Dividend statements showing payments to accounts I never controlled. Below them all, the Civic Leadership Award presented to my parents last month for exemplary family values in business. A knock at the door of my hotel room stops my bitter laugh. I check the peephole, then unlock the deadbolt. Marcus Chen slips inside, his accounting department badge still clipped to his belt. 10 years as Martin Transportation's lead auditor have added silver to his temples, but his eyes still hold the same sharp intelligence. Jesus Christ, Celia. He stands frozen, briefcase dangling from nerveless fingers. When you called, I thought someone was playing a sick joke. Good to see you too, Marcus. I gesture toward the desk chair. Coffee? He shakes his head, still staring. 4 years, they told us you died in a motorcycle crash. There was a memorial and everything. Technically, there were 2 memorials. I pour coffee anyway, needing the familiar ritual. Tomorrow makes 3. Marcus sets his briefcase on the desk with careful precision. The latches click open like gunshots in the quiet room. I brought what you asked for. Internal audit records, transaction histories, everything from the quarter when. He pauses. When you left. When they forced me out. I correct gently. The papers he spreads across the desk tell the story in cold numbers. Money siphoned through shadow accounts. Camille's fingerprints all over the transfers she blamed on me. I'll testify, Marcus says suddenly. About the embezzlement accusations. About all of it. The coffee scalds my throat. Memory flashes. 12-year-old Camille crying in the school bathroom, mascara streaking her cheeks. 8th grade girls can be cruel. I had stood between her and those bullies, small fists clenched. Nobody hurts my sister. My reflection watches me set down the cup. The woman in the mirror looks composed, professional. Only I can see the irony twisting her mouth. I touch the small gold brooch pinned to my lapel, delicate leaves surrounding a single pearl. Grandmother's voice echoes across years. Truth needs courage, sweet girl. More than love sometimes. Later that night, the journal on my nightstand holds weeks of preparation. Pages of scenarios mapped out, responses practiced, contingencies planned. Tear stains blur some of the ink. Not from grief, I finished grieving the family I thought I had. These tears fell as I wrote about what family should mean, about the difference between blood and loyalty, about justice being more vital than reconciliation. My hands steady as I sort documents into the presentation folder. Clear plastic sleeves protect each piece of evidence. My own death certificate, financial transfers, trust fund paperwork. Everything organized with surgical precision. The D-Day has finally come. The black sheath dress hanging in the closet fits perfectly, projecting authority without flash. I stand before the mirror, practicing my opening lines. Not for drama, for impact. The folder balances in my palm like a shield. The phone rings. Lisa's name lights up the screen, my lifeline back in Oregon. I'm 5 minutes from starting my shift, she says without preamble. Just wanted to say I'm here if you need me. And Celia, make them remember why they were afraid enough of you to do this. The recording device tests properly, tucked discreetly in my purse. Everything prepared, everything in place. Just a final reconnaissance to complete. I leave the hotel, heading to the church. St. Daniel's Church looks smaller than I remember. Shadows stretching across its brick facade in the Saturday evening light. I park across the street, watching the final preparations through my windshield. White lilies arrive in florist vans, their ribbon streamers proclaiming in loving memory. The irony would be funny if it didn't make me sick. Camille appears in the side doorway, elegant in a gray suit that probably cost more than my car. She directs the flower arrangements with the same precise gestures she used in corporate presentations. Still the perfect daughter, orchestrating the perfect memorial for the sister she helped erase. A black town car pulls up to the curb. My parents step out, greeting the priest with practiced warmth. My mother's hand flutters to her throat, she tells when she's acting. Some things never change. My reflection in the car window studies me as I prepare. Every hair in place, makeup subtle but flawless. The evidence folder slides into my leather briefcase with a satisfying click. My attorney's text confirms the legal documents are ready. The church parking lot is filled with expensive cars. Black-clad figures move between them like shadows. My parents stand at the entrance, accepting condolences with dignified grief. Camille's husband also arrives to help in this play of the devastated family to perfection. My watch reads 9:55 a.m. The leather steering wheel warms beneath my palms as I take one deep breath. Then another. What's harder, being declared dead or coming back to life? I was about to find out. Sunlight bathes the stone steps of St. Daniel's Church in gold. I pause at the corner, watching black-clad mourners drift through the heavy wooden doors. The spring breeze carries fragments of hushed conversations, punctuated by the soft click of dress shoes against concrete. My heart pounds against my ribs as I cross the street. Each step feels deliberate, measured, like walking through water. A woman in a charcoal suit glances my way, then does a startled double-take before hurrying inside. The fabric of my black dress whispers against my legs, the weight of my leather briefcase anchoring me to reality. The church bells begin their sonorous count to 10. 1, 2, 3. My fingers find grandmother's brooch at my collar, trace the delicate silver filigree. 4, 5, 6. She wore this same pin the day she told me. Truth needs courage, little bird. 7, 8, 9, 10. The final toll fades into silence as I reach the top step. Through the open doors, I glimpse the familiar crimson carpet, the polished pews where I once sat every Sunday. The scent of lilies wafts out my mother's signature funeral flower. Inside, the priest's voice resonates off stone walls. We gather today to remember Celia Martin, whose adventurous spirit led her to distant shores, where tragic fate claimed her far too soon. I slip through the vestibule, The memorial video plays on a screen beside the altar photographs from my childhood, college graduation, company events. Each image carefully selected to craft the story of a beloved daughter, lost too young. My mother dabs her eyes with a monogrammed handkerchief, while my father stands stoic beside her, hand resting protectively on her shoulder. Camille sits in the front pew, clutching her husband's arm. Her designer black dress probably cost more than 3 months of my bookstore salary. The dividends from my stolen inheritance at work. Please rise, the priest intones, for a moment of silence to honor Celia's memory. The congregation stands. The shuffling of feet and rustling of clothing fades into expectant quiet. I push both doors open. The sound echoes like a thunderclap through the sanctuary. Light streams in around me, and for a moment I'm nothing but a silhouette in the doorway. Then I step forward. The first gasp comes from somewhere in the middle pews, then another. A wave of recognition ripples through the gathering as heads turn. Mrs. Henderson from my parents' country club drops her prayer book. The thud seems deafening in the suspended silence. I walk down the center aisle, my footsteps steady despite my hammering pulse. Whispers erupt autumn leaves in a gust of wind. Is that her? How is this possible? My God. My father's face drains of color. Mother's fingers clutch her handkerchief so tightly her knuckles turn white. Camille grabs the back of the pew in front of her, swaying slightly. Her husband stares between her and me, confusion etching deeper lines around his mouth. The priest stumbles over his words. Prayer forgotten. Perhaps we should. I reach the front of the church and turn to face the congregation. My voice comes out clear and strong, carrying to the rafters. I heard I died. I'm here to correct the record. Opening my briefcase, I remove the death certificate. Hold it up so the morning light streaming through the stained glass windows illuminates the official seal. According to this document, I died in a motorcycle accident in Austria. My lips curve in a small smile. Strange, since I've been working at Hartwell Books in Oregon all this time. More papers emerge from my briefcase. My most recent pay stubs, tax returns, apartment lease. All dated well after my supposed death. Each document lands on the altar with a soft but decisive sound. But the most interesting paperwork shows what happened to my 22% ownership of Martin Transportation after I died. My father steps forward, hand outstretched. Celia, darling, you're clearly unwell. Let's discuss this privately. The transfer documents show everything going to Camille 6 months after my death certificate was filed. I meet my sister's wide eyes. Along with the dividends, $140,000 worth, to be exact. That ivory silk at your wedding looked lovely, by the way. I saw the photos online. Mother sinks into a pew, pressing her handkerchief to her forehead. Someone call an ambulance, my daughter needs help. I'm perfectly healthy, Mother. Unlike my email account, which apparently died before I did, or my social media profiles, which vanished around the same time. Almost like someone was systematically erasing me. Camille's perfect mask finally cracks. You abandoned us first. You threatened to destroy everything. By asking about the missing money? The money you embezzled before framing me? I turn back to the congregation. Several people have phones raised, recording. Perfect. I didn't die. They declared me dead to steal my inheritance. And I can prove it. My father lunges for the briefcase. Papers scatter across the altar like rectangular snowflakes. A collective gasp rises from the pews. I stand very still, watching documents flutter to the floor. The truth can't be contained now, not with dozens of witnesses, not with phones capturing every moment. A small smile tugs at my lips as my father realizes the same thing. He straightens his tie, trying to reclaim his dignity. But his hands shake. This is a family matter. Family? The word tastes bitter on my tongue. Family doesn't forge death certificates. Family doesn't steal inheritances. Family doesn't try to erase someone's entire existence. I meet the eyes of the congregation. Faces I've known since childhood stare back, horror and understanding dawning in equal measure. What would you do if the people who should love you most betrayed you so completely? Would you let them bury you in silence, or would you rise from the dead to demand justice? The silence that follows feels holy in its weight. Papers scatter across the marble floor like autumn leaves, my evidence dancing through shafts of morning light. A wave of motion ripples through the pews as half the congregation surges toward the exits, their heels clicking against stone, while others lean forward. A phone's raised to capture the moment my father loses control of his carefully constructed narrative. Our daughter is unwell. His voice cracks on the last word as he grips the podium. She needs help. Mother collapses into the front pew, dabbing her eyes with an embroidered handkerchief. Someone please help her, she wails, but her performance falls flat. The congregation has already witnessed too much truth to be swayed by theatrics. Through the chaos, I catch Camille tugging her husband toward a side door, her perfectly styled hair coming loose as she stumbles in her designer heels. The look in her eyes mirrors that night 4 years ago, fear of exposure trumping any familial bond. I drop to one knee, gathering the scattered documents with deliberate calm. My hands should shake, but they move with surgical precision. A lifetime of controlling my emotions serves me well now. I am perfectly well. My voice carries through the sanctuary without effort, filling the sacred space that once welcomed our family every Sunday. I hold up my passport, then a recent photograph. In fact, I'm very much alive. The congregants who remained press closer, abandoning any pretense of proper church behavior. Several phones record my every move. Let them. The truth deserves witnesses. They declared me dead to steal my inheritance. I face the congregation directly, meeting their wide eyes. The death certificate says I died in a motorcycle accident in Austria. Strange, since I've been working at a bookstore in Oregon this whole time. Father lurches forward. Sweetheart, please let's discuss this privately. Like we discussed the missing money privately? The words taste sharp on my tongue. Like we discussed how Camille's embezzlement would ruin the family name. A collective gasp ripples through the church. Near the back, Mr. Patterson, our longtime company accountant, pales visibly. He would know exactly how the numbers were manipulated. Mother abandons her fainting couch pose, genuine panic replacing her manufactured distress. Richard, do something! But Father's authority dissolves as his business associates whisper among themselves, years of carefully curated respect crumbling in real time. Several church board members huddle near the altar, their disapproving faces saying everything their polite upbringing won't let them voice. Celia? A wavering voice breaks through the tension. My childhood Sunday school teacher steps forward, her lined face etched with concern. We mourned you. They told us we sent flowers to Austria. I know, Mrs. Reynolds. My voice softens. They lied to everyone. The heavy oak doors swing wide. My attorney enters, briefcase in hand, his measured footsteps echoing through the chaos. Right on schedule. The congregants part before him like the Red Sea. I have here, he announces, lifting a thick manila envelope, a motion to revoke the fraudulent death certificate. Additionally, we're filing criminal charges for identity theft, financial fraud, and misappropriation of assets. Camille freezes halfway to the exit. You can't prove anything. I meet my sister's gaze. The trust fund grandmother left me. The company shares transferred after my death. The dividends you've collected. Did you really think I wouldn't find out? You abandoned the family first. Camille's voice rises shrilly. When you threatened to expose the missing money? I cut her off. The embezzlement you pinned on me? My voice remains steady, but my grandmother's brooch burns against my collarbone. I didn't abandon anyone. I was forced out for questioning the corruption. A church board member rises, his granite face carved with decades of moral certainty. Martin, Eleanor, what have you done? Father's shoulders slump. Mother sinks into the pew, all pretense abandoned. And Camilla, me sister, who I once protected from playground bullies, backs away like I'm the monster she pretended died in a foreign land. My attorney distributes copies of our legal filing to the stunned church leadership. I gather my remaining documents, tucking them into my briefcase with measured precision. The time for exposure has passed. Now justice will take its course through proper channels. I turn to face my family one last time. You didn't just disown me, you tried to erase me completely. The words emerge not in anger, but as simple truth. Family may be where wounds start, but truth is where healing begins. Pivoting toward the door, I feel the weight of decades of Sunday services, Christmas pageants, and family portraits lifting from my shoulders. The morning sunlight streams through stained glass, painting the marble floor in jewel tones, beauty emerging from shadow. Celia! The cry rings out as I reach the threshold. We're glad you're alive. I don't turn to see who spoke. Their words float in the air like a benediction as